Today we're going to be factoring by greatest common factor. So GCF stands for greatest common factor. So let's look at the equation 3x times x plus 9. So if we were to distribute the 3x, we'd end up with 3x squared plus 27x. So 3x and x plus 9 are the factors. And then 3x squared plus 27x is the product. So when we are factoring, think of it as reverse distributing. The greatest common factor of a polynomial is going to be the greatest common factor of the coefficients and the smallest exponent of variables that are in all terms. Very important that the variable has to be in all of the terms in the polynomial to be in the greatest common factor. So let's look at an example. So we're going to start with the product and decide what were the factors. So first step is you have to determine what the greatest common factor is. So I need to find the largest number that I can divide 16 and 56 by. And I know that that is 8. And if I don't have variables that are in both factors, which in this case is true because only 16 has an x, I'm not going to have any variables in my greatest common factor. So all I'm going to do is divide both terms by the greatest common factor, and then it goes to the outside of the parentheses. And then what's left after I divide goes inside the parentheses. So 16x divided by 8 is 2x, and 56 divided by 8 is 7. So I have factored that expression. In this next one, let's find the greatest common factor. Things to keep in mind: that this one has a coefficient of 1. And it also has an exponent of 1. So if the coefficients are 8 and 1, the largest thing I'm going to be able to divide them by is 1. So I don't even need to write the 1, because anything divided by 1 is just itself. Both terms have x, so I'm going to select the one with the lower exponent, which would be just x. the one that has the exponent of 1. So this is what I'm going to divide by. And it moves to the outside of the parentheses. Now, remember when you divide variables with exponents, you're going to subtract the exponents. Don't forget that these both have an exponent of 1. We'll even put that one there. So 8x squared divided by x is 8x. So I've subtracted 2 minus 1. That one just has an exponent of 1. Then we have x divided by x. Well, there's two ways to think of it, which is subtract the exponents, which gives you 0. So these cancel out, and all that's left is the coefficient, which is 1. Or just think of it as anything divided by itself will always be 1. So just be careful that you don't have that whole term go away. It's still there. It is 1. Let's do subtraction. So let's find the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor of the coefficients, 30 and 70, would be 10. That's the largest number I can divide both of those by. So both of these terms have x. I'm going to select the one with the smallest exponent, which is x. That one has an exponent of 1. And this is what I'm going to divide by. It goes to the outside. 30 divided by 10 is 3. X divided by x cancels out. And then 70 divided by 10 is 7. Now I need to remember to subtract 1 here. So this becomes 7x cubed. Okay, greatest common factor of 35 and 63 is 7, and the lower exponent is 2. So I'm going to factor out 7x squared. 35 divided by 7 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0, so the x is gone. 63 divided by 7 is 9. And this will be x squared. Let's look at some examples where there's more than one variable. So we don't have to find a greatest common factor for the coefficients because there are no coefficients, or the coefficients are just 1. Both terms do not have x, so x is not going to be in our greatest common factor. Both terms do have y, and we'll take the one with the lower exponent, which is an exponent of 1. So just y is our greatest common factor. So x squared y divided by y will be x squared, because if there's no x on the bottom, that one just stays the same. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, so the y is gone. And then 2 minus 1 is 1, so we just have y. Last example. So in this case, both terms have x and y. So our greatest common factor will have x and y. For x, the lower exponent is 3, and for y, the lower exponent is 1. Factor out x cubed y. So for x, 5 minus 3 is 2, and 5 minus 1 is 4. Now we have both terms being the same. So 3 minus 3 is 0, y minus y, or 1 minus 1 is 0 for y. So we're left with just the coefficient, which was 1. So make sure you don't completely leave that out. Make a note. And that's what you'll be doing in today's practice.